are the New York Knicks. I'm back, rocking in New York. Well, it's the Knicks. New York. We are the New York Knicks. New York. For this new season we're about to enter, the Knicks is taking no shorts, just like winter.
New York, New York.
New York be about the Knicks, huh?
But the best thing about New York City is K-N-I-C-K-S.
Everybody say go, New York, go, New York, go!
Hey everybody, it's episode 442 of the New York Knicks podcast, part of the Almighty Baller Podcast Network and Dash Radio. I am Jay. How you doing, Mark?
Good. I want to start the show off, Jay. To come out the gate swinging, I want to come out with start the show off. I want to publicly make a job offer for a new host for the show.
I'm being replaced.
I'm not replacing you, Jay. I'm replacing me and you. We're going to become. I think we should be the co-host, the Robins to the Batman. I am publicly making a job offer because I know who our main host should be.
Okay.
He is not currently employed. And he has big connections to things like Ninja Turtles. Carmelo Anthony, you don't have a job now anyway. You could start for us. Come join our network. We can offer you the league minimum podcast salary.
So I saw just a sad article on ESPN saying Puerto Rican team is now trying to actively recruit Carmelo Anthony.
Is it sad because that's his best job offer currently?
It is. I mean,
second best after podcasting our show.
We rip on Melo, but I just feel bad at this point.
I mean, Puerto Rico's been through a lot. They deserve.
He would be good in that league.
Yeah, I bet he would be really good. I bet they'd let him go to work, let him stop the ball, not play defense. They'd just be happy to have him there.
Yeah.
I mean, Jimmer Fredette scored 78 points in the China Basketball League. I'm pretty sure Melo would he could probably average 30 in the Puerto Rican. I'm just assuming they play in the Puerto Rican Basketball League.
Yeah, I think he would probably average 35.
Yeah, so Melo, you have two compelling job offers. What are you going to do?
All right, so that was our Where Are They Now segment. Oh, no, we have another Where Are They Now.
Where are they now? Tell us.
Where Are They Now? This one was sent by Hagai. Where are they now? I wasn't really expecting this. Chris Smith is an Orthodox Jew.
Oh. I guess I apparently don't win that pool.
Please discuss and explain. Would this have helped JR's career?
I think if you're an Orthodox Jew, I'm Jewish myself, and I think I understand you cannot go out Friday nights. So that would have made the Saturday game, though he probably would have to also respect the whole Sabbath, so not play Saturdays either.
That's the sect that has 300 and something commandments, right? You can't use electricity and you can't eat certain foods, and there's a ton of stuff, right?
No, there's just one commandment. Your life must suck. That's the commandment, and you just everything else is just a derivation of that. That. But
so that probably would have put a little bit of a hamper on his. Well, he didn't have much of an NBA career anyway. Maybe nobody would have noticed.
He didn't have an actual NBA career. Did he? He didn't play in an actual game for the Knicks. He played in a preseason game, but not an actual regular season game.
Yeah.
So he didn't actually have an NBA. Is there anything about his path towards Orthodox Judaism?
No, I didn't see this coming.
I hope actually we soon find out that most of the guys that were barely hangers on Knicks end up becoming we find out soon that Landry Fields is also an Orthodox Jew. Apparently, it's just a whole subculture of people that had some connection to the Knicks and now are Orthodox Jews.
Andy Rottens.
Andy Rottens is definitely an Orthodox Jew. I have a question for you.
Okay.
This is just a kind of there's nothing. So the Knicks played a bunch of games this week. They got their butts kicked a bunch of times this week. Mm-hmm. Nothing fun really happened this week. But I have a question for you. Let's just say these guys are all available as free agents. They all say, we want to come to the Knicks. Knicks will take one of them, but the Knicks have to supermax them.
Okay.
So
I already don't like it.
Or just max. I don't know. I think you can.
You can't supermax a guy. It's not on your team.
Okay, but let's say it's a max deal and it's a 4 year. Can you only max deal for 4 years? You can't do 5 years if the guy's not on your team, right?
Correct.
Okay, so 4-year max deal. And these are I'm not. So it's LeBron, Anthony Davis, Durant, Steph Curry, and Harden. I don't think I left anyone off that would be. Yeah, Giannis. That's the other one I meant. Greek Freak. So those 6 guys. Who's the first guy you cut? I was doing.
So you said LeBron, Anthony Davis, Steph Curry, Giannis,
and Harden.
Okay.
Yeah. So who do you cut first? I want to see you cut it down. Like not just give your answer. I want to see your thought process.
Right. Okay. So.
And you have this Knicks. So you have basically the current team with KB coming back, and I don't know who the top 5 pick will be, but
first guy I cut is LeBron. Because he'll be 35 by the time he starts the contract.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Do you want
36, 37, 30? Yeah, that's some pretty old years.
Do you want a 39-year-old making probably $39 million?
But do you think LeBron is the point is to win? Like the point is whatever you want for success. LeBron could he get us to the finals with our current team?
Maybe. I don't want to bank the Knicks' future on a 35 to 39-year-old. Based on the Knicks' history, that'll be the year he breaks down. The second he comes.
Yeah, that is true. It's the Knicks, so like if LeBron's ever going to break down, it'll be when the day after he signs with the Knicks.
Yeah. So that one's too risky.
Okay, so now you're down to Anthony Davis, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, James Harden, or the Greek Freak.
Next out is Harden.
Okay, why?
One, I don't like his style of playing. I don't want to root for him. But straight, if you're going just from a winning standpoint,
that's fine. You can say I don't like watching the guy play either. That's fine also. Like you're a big Knicks fan. You are rooting for whatever success you want to be excited about this team and win games and everything. So.
Well, from a basketball standpoint, he seems to not play as well in the playoffs.
That's fair. That's true.
Every single year, there's not been one year where you're like, oh, he really stepped it up in this year's playoffs.
Yeah. And at some point, also Knicks get hot. Knicks, if the league comes out 10 years from now and there's an investigation and they confirm it's not a conspiracy, the Knicks really are just getting bad foul calls from refs for like a decade. Mm-hmm. Like basically, I feel like the refs don't like the Knicks, and you don't want to take a guy that's come to the Knicks who's dependent on the refs.
Right. So yeah,
Harden's just I don't understand. This stuff was never fouls in Houston. You're a Knick now, baby.
Exactly. Yeah, so he's out.
Okay, now we're down to Anthony Davis, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, and the Greek Freak. Getting a little harder.
It is. I would say, yeah, this is getting hard now.
I think the next one. I think there's 2 more easy cuts. I think the last 2 are the hardest cuts. Are the hardest. But let's see where you're going with this.
I would say the next I would cut is Steph Curry.
I didn't think you were going to say. I thought you were going to say. Well,
it was a toss up between him and Anthony Davis.
Okay, I figured I would have cut Anthony Davis. Only he's amazing. And I'll talk about the New Orleans.
You know what? I would say Anthony Davis first, then Steph.
His injury issues, right?
Yes. His injury
every year.
He hasn't had one healthy season yet, and the Knicks have no luck with injuries as it is. So, a bad combo.
Yes. And you also think about the current roster. Now, he'd play pretty well next to KP, but I mean, they're all going to play well in the Knicks, but or in theory they would. But the injuries would worry me. Okay, we're down to Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, and the nice thing is that Durant actually of all these guys, Durant will be a free agent.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant, and also Kevin Durant. Apparently, he's not going to play on the Golden State Warriors next year. So.
So Steph Curry is the next one out. Also, injury worries.
Okay.
And his game is not going to age gracefully if he's hobbled.
He hits. I mean, we need a point guard.
We do.
But and Steph Curry's an amazing point guard, and he hits crazy threes. His game relies on speed.
Yeah. And
so if he gets injured, you worry. If he loses a step, you worry about him becoming like human, not superhuman. Okay, so you're down to. And either way, I think I had. This question, I would be down to the Greek Freak or Durant. Mm-hmm. I think it's a clear choice here, but I'm curious what you're going to say.
I would next cut Kevin Durant.
Oh, so I would have gone the exact opposite.
Really?
Yes.
Why is that?
Greek Freak's. I mean, both of them are really, really good players. Durant has already proven he can win in this league. Greek Freak has not proven. He hasn't gone anywhere in the playoffs.
Yeah, look
And
at
that
their
concerns me. I know what you're
teammates.
saying. Look at LeBron James. He goes to a team that's the worst team in the NBA, goes to the finals 4 straight years, leaves, they're back to the worst team in the NBA. LeBron plays with garbage that's on fire and can go to the finals. I understand Giannis does not have the greatest roster ever. You should do more in the playoffs.
Yeah, but Kevin Durant's teams didn't exactly have a huge fall off when he left.
I mean, they went from with Kevin Durant, they were a finals contender. When he left, they were like an 8th seed.
They still made the playoffs.
Yeah, yes, they did. They still made the playoffs. Yes, he had a better roster. You're right. It's a better roster. I think Durant's the better player of the two. Right.
I mean, who would you rather? Russell Westbrook and Steven Adams, or Chris Middleton and I don't know, Eric Bledsoe?
No. I'm not. I agree with you. OKC has the better roster than Milwaukee minus Giannis. But at the same time,
not to mention Giannis is less injured and younger.
He is younger. I am just concerned. Like Durant at this point now he's lethal, and I feel like he can take over a game. And I feel like he has 4 more years of being lethal in him. He's the best player in the league. I'd like to go. Durant next to KP for the next 4 years. It would be dreamy, basically. I'd be rock hard for 4 straight years.
Giannis next to anybody else. I mean, Giannis and KP would be awesome.
Giannis, does he have an outside shot?
He's starting to develop it.
Okay, so that concerns me. In this league, he does not have an outside shot.
He's starting to, though. He's added something to his game every year, and he's still working on his game.
I agree with you. He's the second choice in this list, or he's top 2 in this list. I would take Durant, but
well, we're not getting either, so
doesn't really matter. Let's just move on. I just thought it was an interesting discussion, and nice the fact that the guy, at least I have number 1, is a possibility. I mean, it's not going to happen, but just look at the possibility you'll win the lottery with that ticket you bought.
Right.
Also, I want to say, and it doesn't hold up quite as well, but we did the power rankings last week. My number 2 choice in the Knicks power rankings, as pathetic as it was Damian Dotson, and yours was Cantor.
Yeah.
Cantor pretty much had disappeared this week up to today's game against Orlando, and Damian had kind of disappeared, though he had some signs of life in the Pelicans game. But it's interesting how horrible the number 2 choice, basically both our number 2 choices, barely survived. Did almost nothing this week on the teams.
Yeah, I will take those 19 rebounds tonight in my fantasy league.
Can you take Cantor to your fantasy league and just have him not come back to the Knicks? just take him for your fantasy. He only plays fantasy league games, no more Knick games. He had 16 points tonight and 19 rebounds against Orlando, and he was still a -2 and plus minus. Not the plus minus means everything, but Cantor's a minus.
Oh, remember last week when I said I had 4 guys left and I only needed to get a couple things? None of those guys did anything, and I ended up losing last week.
Oh, are you quite as Are you still are you still sure you guys are going to win? I mean, sorry, you're still sure you're going to make the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, this week's over. I won 6-3.
Okay.
So I'm back. I'm still trying to get over my dropping of TJ Warren.
I'm gonna hand it on just going back to Cantor for a second. Posting and toasting with their recap of the Pelicans game. I thought this was just a great recap of Enes Kanter's his 5 minutes he played in the second quarter. In the second quarter, faked setting a screen and slipped to the basket. Watched Davis miss a fadeaway. Was uninvolved in the offense. Dropped back defending Drew Holiday in a pick and roll, leaving Drew Holiday room to drive to the cup, but missed. Was uninvolved in the offense. Ruined Noah Vonleh and joined Noah Vonleh in letting Holiday drive in for a layup. Slipped another screen. Allowed an uncontested jumper to Ian Clark. Was uninvolved in the offense. Was uninvolved in the offense again. He literally stood there and did not move a muscle for 6 seconds. Gave up another uncontested jumper to Clark, who again missed. Was uninvolved in the offense. Played a conscious objector to yet another Holiday pick and roll, surrounding a 3-pointer. Slipped another screen and nearly turned the ball over. Slipped another screen. grabbed an offensive rebound, then turned it over after doing that deer in the headlights pausing shtick that clues every stray for 100 miles. That the one thing he's definitely not going to do is definitely not going to do is not shoot. I thought it was a great recap from them.
Not the best sequence from him.
No. So let's start the week. We're going to do our takeaways from each game. 3 things from each game. Because there are a lot of games, a lot of losing. Let's start with the first Orlando game. The Knicks. We recorded Sunday in the afternoon. This game was Sunday night, and thank Almighty that we did not record after this game because this game was horrendous. The Knicks were down 30-10 after the first quarter, and the game was never any closer.
Not the best look.
Not the best look. So my takeaways, or we can go back and forth. Or I can just give you my takeaways. So this was the new lineup the Knicks used. This game, the starting lineup was Knox, Robinson, Moutier. Oh, this is the other one. Sorry. This lineup was Vonleh, Robinson, Ntilikina, Dotson, and Hardaway. Was this the new starting lineup? Or the new starting lineup was the.
No, I think that was the last game of the last starting lineup.
Oh, the Thunder game was the first new starting lineup.
Yeah, because
they
of
put
this
Knox
game.
and Moutier in, right?
Yeah, because of this game.
Because of it.
Pretty much.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at my.
This was the game that Ntilikina played 6 minutes, got benched, never got put back in.
Okay, so my takeaways from this game. First one was holy shit, this team has a way to go, and so does Frank. 6 minutes, but maybe benching was deserved. He looked like complete garbage in that 6 minutes.
He did, but isn't like when you have a first and second year guy, they're gonna look like garbage at times.
Yeah, no, it's like the argument. So right now, the 2 competing arguments on Frank are, give him his 30 minutes every night, and just that's the only way he's going to learn. Or, hey, sometimes you have to cut guys minutes so they get through their head because they're not learning otherwise. You give him a lot of playing time early. He was not doing what you wanted, so let's give him less minutes and make him earn his minutes back.
I guess.
I there was an article on Knicks Film School. I think Jonathan Macri wrote it. It was a good article about how he talked about DeJounte Murray on the Spurs, and last season, I guess in the for 2 or 3 months they put him back to the bench. They thought he was going to be he was going to step up. He was not stepping up. They put him back to the bench for 2 or 3 months, cut his minutes, and then come January. He something clicked and he went back to becoming a starter and he was good to go from there.
Right, but there's a big difference between cutting minutes and playing him 6.
Well, 6 was an extreme. He did look like garbage in those 6 minutes, and sometimes I think sometimes you have to just go hey, you're not getting this. Maybe this will actually a harder lesson. You have to get this. You have to understand that if you're not going to play offense, we can't have you out there. You have to participate in the offense.
Scared straight,
I guess. Yeah, and he had some fouls. He should have come back in. 6 minutes is extreme, but maybe Fizz wants to send a message. I don't know.
Yeah.
My other takeaways from this game were Robinson with his block party this game. He had I think he had 9 blocks in this game.
Yes, that was definitely the highlight of that night.
The highlight of the week.
Yeah,
not the night. He is a goddamn force. He makes it. If you look at today's Orlando game, Cantor looked like crap. They brought Robinson back, immediately starts making a difference on defense. But he also not today's game, the Pelicans game. But then he got some foul trouble, and that's been hurting him the whole week. But and then my third point from this game,
he's had a rough week though. I mean, Mitchell Robinson, hey, cover Steven Adams, and then Anthony Davis, and then Vucevic back to back to back. That's a rough week.
It is. I feel like he's getting some garbage calls on him. There's some there are sometimes he definitely gets some fouls, but they're calling some ticky-tack fouls on him, which just once he gets a ticky-tack foul, and then he gets a real foul, suddenly he has 2 fouls. Suddenly Fizz has to pull him.
Right.
Which also Fizz. No, I don't have I'm not calling for Fizz to be fired. I think he's doing a good job with what he has right now, and I want him to be the coach for a long time. But could you stop pulling guys that have foul trouble? Just let them play through the foul trouble.
Let him foul out. Who cares?
Yeah, today Robinson played like no minutes against the Magic, because he had 4 fouls in the span of like 7 minutes. But you know what? Let him foul out. What's the difference?
Yeah.
You're saving him with 5 fouls. Like, that way he won't foul out in regulation. I don't. What's the point of that? Just put him back in there.
I agree.
And one point during the game, Burke was down. Burke, how tall is Burke? 6 foot, 6'1".
Well, that's the official
5'11".
height.
Okay, so
But yeah, he's my height.
So who do you want him most guarding Orlando? Who? If you're gonna have him matching up against anyone in Orlando, who's the guy who should be that matching up?
DJ Augustine.
Exactly. Vucevic down low in the paint. That's who he. At one point, he's matching up. Vucevic is posting up on a guy who's a foot shorter than him. The Knicks switch too much.
Yeah, that wasn't. That's not.
The Knicks
working.
are just like, what do you want? What matchup do you want? We'll let you have it.
He's like, oh, I don't even have to jump. Okay, cool.
Oh my god, what a goddamn anything. So anything you want to say about this game?
No, this was a disgusting game, and I'm glad that it didn't happen before last week's podcast.
Holy crap! Okay, so then we moved on to the Thunder game. The Knicks. So the Knicks decided to not play 2 games in a row. It would be fair to say the Knicks just didn't even play these games. Like how much longer can you watch the Knicks? They were entertaining in the Pelican game. That game was entertaining, so that was good. And this game against the Magic today was entertaining. But the OKC game and the first Orlando game were complete garbage. How much can you watch of them? How much Knicks can you watch if they're going to look like that?
It was the game that I think most of Knicks Twitter started sharpening their pitchforks.
I mean, it was just like everyone was immediately like, well, we're going to get a high draft pick, so that's cool.
I mean, people were really starting to this last week. People were really starting to put all their hatred toward Ntilikina. I kind of felt bad.
It's also like there's so many things that people are getting frustrated with already. It's not even December and the season's over.
But I mean, this is
we knew this. I understand that. You're right.
And they've already had more close games and played better, and a bunch of players played better than we thought they would. So I mean, there's more positives than we thought there were going to be at this point in the season. Maybe because we're cynical, like this is like better than we thought they would be, and other people are too hopeful. I don't know.
I was a little more hopeful than you were, but I don't have a problem if they have like the Pelicans game where they led and they blew it at the end. At least that was an entertaining game. And there were a lot of entertaining games. It's just the first Magic game and this OKC game were just such garbage. I was like, really? This is what we're like? The Knicks don't even look like they showed up to the games.
Yeah.
This was the starting lineup, so.
Oh no! So this was the new starting lineup, right? Yeah.
Okay, this is this starting lineup lasted only 1 game, but this was Frank was out, and so was
Dotson.
This was a weird one. So you had Knox coming into the 3 for Dotson. Well, I still don't love. The more I've looked at it, I don't love Robinson and Vonleh together because I feel like you have 2 guys. You can't have 2 post players with no outside shooting. And Vonleh, he can shoot the 3, but he's not a very good outside shooter.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what do you think of that combination?
I feel like Robinson is more of a defensive guy, so you would need an offensive guy next to him, and Vonleh is, I guess he's not much of either.
So when he switched after this, when Fizdale went to Knox at the 4 next to Robinson, I worry about the rebounding there, but I like that much better because I feel like that there was a lot more. You had much more athletic lineup, and Knox is much more dynamic. Knox can do much more on offense than Vonleh can. I like that lineup a lot better than having the Robinson Vonleh thing. I just didn't love.
For a guy who hasn't played terribly great on offense, Knox is super confident.
Yeah, you know what? He's confident. He'll get better. You kind of he shot 5 for 16 in this game, but at the same time, you kind of want him just shooting. Like, let him have a terrible field goal percentage, but let him figure things out basically, and hopefully the field goal percentage will adjust when he gets a better feel for the league.
Yeah.
So he's not like Timmy Hardaway, which you want him to shoot well right now. I feel like you just want the guy to shoot. Because sometimes he throws things up. You're like, you shouldn't have shot that, and then sometimes he he'll get to his spot on the floor and put a shot up. You're like, oh, that was a pretty good shot. I like that.
Yeah, it's a mixed bag, but I mean, this is also what we expected.
So Steven Adams, are you not allowed to guard him in the NBA?
Yeah, he's a tough cover.
So my takeaways in this one, but so there was also as much as we talk about Ntilikina's defense, by the way, being awesome, everyone loves his defense. There were 3 straight plays where Dennis Schroeder blew by him like he wasn't even standing. He blew by. He made him look like Raymond Felton on defense. Like Frankie was just there, and Schroeder went right by him. The next play went right by him, and then went right by him again. It was like a joke. And then Frankie got pulled right after that.
Yeah,
like if you're not gonna play offense, your defense better be damn. You better be able to stop Dennis Schroeder.
That's what I was saying. Where this was the game where people were really just like, we're done with Frank.
I'm definitely concerned about him. You got to be a little bit concerned. Now, I think he'll still be a good player, but can you really see him being the starting point guard of the future? It's hard to envision where we are right now with him, that he's going to be the starting point guard that we're going to be excited about or happy with. I
am officially concerned.
Yeah, and I want to go a little bit later on. We're going to talk about the 3-point guards and where they are right now. So my three takeaways from this were the new lineup, not great. I think the Knicks were down by a lot right away, so it did not gel very well. Why is everyone so? Paul George is not the most efficient shooter in the world, yet him and everyone else when they play the Knicks are just like they're all Steph Curry when they play the Knicks.
Mm-hmm.
Paul George was hitting 3 after 3. I'm like, he's not that good of a shooter.
I think a lot of players get up for playing the Knicks.
I guess so.
I don't know why. It's kind of just a thing, but I think teams are like, oh, cool, it's the Knicks. Let's bring out our A game.
Also, I want to mention, do you think, I'm sure there was a practice when Fizz like emphasized this, and you think just most of the team was just like out sick the day he like talked about boxing guys out in defense?
Yeah, I think the Knicks were out sick the last 10 years unless no coaches ever mentioned that.
I mean, there were so many plays where they just boxed if everyone just got a man on just like tried to actually get the rebound, the Knicks would have probably won I don't know if they would have won the game. But
no,
the Knicks would have looked a lot better. Yeah. Yeah. I also think I noticed that when Steven Adams, when he backs down on a defender, they're like, that was a tough play by Adams. Good play. He's hard to cover. When Vonleh or anyone else in the Knicks do the exact same thing, they're like, charging foul.
It's all about dipping your shoulder, but not too much.
That doesn't make any sense.
Well,
it's the same.
It definitely doesn't make sense.
Either you're allowed to do it or you're not allowed to do it.
Definitely doesn't make sense to Vonleh.
It definitely doesn't. And Vonleh does look like he's charging when he does it. My only other thing was that I think other people on Twitter did not love this, but I thought Wally Zerbeck was a nice change of pace from Clyde. I like Clyde, but it was just good to have a different guy calling the game.
Yeah. Didn't Pito do one game too?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I thought he was good too. Yeah,
I just think it's nice to have I think the Knicks, the games aren't halftime aren't that entertaining, so just have some different voices is helpful.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say about this game besides the fact that the Knicks?
Schroeder is 500% more likable now that they got rid of that blonde streak.
Were you watching that, being like, wait, the guy that was just in this the Hawks were trying to get the Hawks just gave away to get rid of his contract. I almost look at that. I was like, maybe the Knicks should have gotten Dennis Schroeder. The Hawks was just giving him away.
He's looked way better this season.
Yeah. Would you rather have? And I know he's getting paid a decent amount of money, but would you rather have Schroeder in now or the 3-point guards we have?
Probably Schroeder.
You know what? We have 3 point guards now who are all top 10 picks in the draft, and we don't have a point guard.
It's funny, but it's not.
Okay, so moving on from this game, the next game was the Pelicans game, by far the most entertaining game.
This is yet another starting lineup change.
Yes, but this one I feel like we're gonna go with for a little while. What do you think? This is the it's Moutier, Knox at the 4, It's Robinson, Knox at the 4, Moutier point guard, Trier and Hardaway. Though I can see Trier and Dotson switching up. What do you think?
I like this starting lineup. It was very energetic. It looked like they were trying hard on defense. I mean, they held New Orleans to 16.
It was a back-to-back, I believe, for New Orleans, and maybe they just didn't necessarily look on. But the Knicks looked so I don't know if it was just New Orleans not looking on, but the Knicks looked so athletic and so good to start that game.
Well, it's funny because I was like, oh, they were trying hard on defense, and they look like really good. And then the same starting lineup the very next game let up 44 points in the first. So go figure.
It did look good, though. It was. I want to point this out now. Actually, just come for 1 second. But about the starting lineups. So there was a quote from this week. They asked. Let me find the. Okay, so they asked Fizdale about the starting lineup, and they basically made a point that. What was it that the Frank, Timmy, Dotson, Vonleh, Robinson lineup ranks among the top lineups in the NBA in net rating. Now, net rating, we should all assume that matters, right?
Yeah.
So if we have the top net rating lineup, you would want to run with that lineup, right? So they asked Fizdale, and his response was, "We weren't winning, so it's not like it's winning. It's not like it was winning games for us." That was his response to why he decided to change the lineup a little bit.
Take that for data.
Take that for data. So he basically ignored the data, and a lot of people were kind of like down on Fizz for doing this. What's your take on that?
I'm with him. I don't care what the data says. If they're not winning games, they're not winning games.
I think people in this stat-driven age are so obsessed with like whatever stats. Once stats are there, like no one believes in small sample sizes. No one believes that we're like 15 games of the regular season, and just because you see something that looks good right now, it may not mean anything because it's a small sample size.
Haven't we disproved stats like a million times? Remember a couple years ago when we were saying Cole Aldridge had like 75 rebounds per 30 minutes?
Yeah, per 36. Yeah, like sometimes you have to just don't go with the stats. Go with the fact that this guy Fizdale probably knows a lot more about coaching than every person that follows him on Twitter. So there's a chance, basically, that he knows what he's doing and he's experimenting and he wants to figure out how to actually win games.
I agree.
So I thought people was like going off on him. Like, I understand, like maybe it's Jeff Hornacek, a coach you really don't believe in. We just hired Fizz. Most people seem to believe in him. Stop questioning every move he makes.
Totally agree.
And also maybe like, hey, maybe his idea was like, you know what? Maybe we can adjust this lineup, still have a good net rating, and maybe our second unit won't be horrible. We can move some of these guys around and try to like actually make this work. But anyway, so my take. What else do you want to say about the Pelican game? You want
Anthony Davis was talking crazy trash to Robinson, and Robinson was not backing down. He was dishing it right back, and I like that. That was a situation where this guy is scoring at will, and it could have affected him mentally, and it seemed like it did. It seemed like he liked it, and he was all for just drawing back at him. I like that a lot.
I have a question. So, if let's say you're a player, you jump over another player and dunk over his head, is that a foul on the other player for being below you? Because this is what Anthony Davis did. He dunked over Cantor. Cantor's just standing there. He jumps over his back and dunks, and they call the foul on Cantor for just being there.
Yeah, there's a lot of just terrible foul calls.
Anthony Davis is a great player, but I just noticed in the Knicks game, in that second quarter in particular, he just got he was dominating, but it was because they gave him every foul call. It was like
there's no star calls in the NBA.
It was absurd. It's like you can't cover the guy. You can't play this guy if we're going to call everything on him a foul. Everything you do to him as a foul.
Yep.
I think fouls are the story of this game more than anything. I mean, the Knicks played really well, getting out the leads, but because of ridiculous fouls, Mitchell Robinson had to leave the court. Knox, who was on fire in the second quarter, had to leave the court. Obviously, our coach could have left them out there. But I feel like those guys being in foul trouble and Anthony Davis being immune to not being fouled basically was this reason that we lost the game.
I wouldn't say the total reason, but yeah, it was a big part of it.
But my takeaways here: better ball movement with a new starting lineup, which I liked. My number 2 takeaway here is the emergence of Emmanuel Mudiay.
I'm hating him a lot less lately, and Hardaway's starting to grow on me too.
Oh, I didn't expect that.
I know.
Wow, that's I want to talk about the point guards, but I need to pause the show and we need to talk about the fact that Timmy Hardaway is growing on you. Is it because he's the best offensive player by far in the team? He can get to the line. He's actually one of the better passers on the team. He's a better passer than some of our point guards. He takes charges. His defense, while not good, is not like Enes Kanter bad.
Do you know that Hardaway is number 2 in the league so far in taking charges?
You know what I have to say about that is that I am surprised he's not number 1. He's so good at taking charges. Who's beating him?
Who's Lowry? Kyle Lowry. He's taken 10 and Hardaway's taken 8.
I have to say, like, his charge thing is like just a totally underrated skill. He gets at least one of those a game.
Yeah, it's he's been doing good with that. So it seems like his defense has improved a little bit, and the offense just looks so lost when he's not there.
So lost, and like you look at his stat line, and like so if you look at his stat line from like he gets his points, but
he's still not shooting terribly efficiently, but he's getting to the line a lot, and he does other things. He gets rebounds and assists and steals, so it's not like he's just. It's not like he's Eric Gordon on my fantasy team who just gets points and nothing else ever.
Yeah, well, it's like the first
trade.
Orlando game, he looked pretty bad. So that was just a bad game. But I'm trying to find an example of a solid. Okay, so this stat line I thought was interesting. If you want to look at like his shooting percentage, the Pelicans game, he was 9 for 23, which does not sound very good, right?
Right.
But he got 30 points off those 23 shots.
Yeah, because he's getting to the line.
Yeah, I mean, you get, and he's shooting threes. Like, if you go 9 for 20, if in Melo's day, he went 9 for 23, that meant he had 23 points. Like, Melo never got more points than he had shots, or it was very rare.
Right, and it's the same thing tonight. He was 9 for 20, but he had 32 points.
Yeah, he was 4 for 12 from 3. This is the Pelican game, and 10 times to the free throw line. That makes a big difference. And tonight he I don't know why I just closed that box score.
He was 9 for 10 from free throw line tonight, and he had hit 5 threes.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really hate on that. Like, you may not love. Oh, he didn't start tonight.
Who?
I don't think I realized that.
Hardaway,
yeah.
Yeah, no, he started.
According to the this box score, he didn't.
Well, you're looking at a stupid box score.
I missed a good part of this game. Just because. Sunday at like 6:00 games aren't the best time for me.
Yeah, but probably not the best when you got 2 little kids.
Yeah, but at the same time, like you can't hate on his stat. Like his true shooting percentage is pretty decent. Like of all players to hate on, like you agree also his passing isn't bad.
It's not, and back-to-back really good games from Trey Burke as well.
Yeah, he is. He can't play defense. He's not going to be a starter for us.
No, but if he can get 31 points off of 20 shots, that's not bad.
Yeah. So I just want to go to Timmy for a second. His right now his effective field goal percentage is 50% basically, which is pretty solid.
Mm-hmm.
He's getting about almost 3 assists a game. Probably would get more assists. Probably would have at least an extra assist a game if the Knicks could shoot. Because there's a lot of times he makes a solid pass and the Knicks just don't put the ball in the basket. But his true shooting percentage, which I think is an underrated as far as advanced stats, it's a pretty good one because it accounts for like your free throw, getting to the free throw line.
Mm-hmm.
He's 55% in true shooting percentage. He could be a little better, but it's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad.
He's not an all-star, but like if you're gonna get mad at anyone in the Knicks, like Timmy Hardaway is like the 15th guy you want to get mad at.
Right.
Okay, so let's just take a step back here on the point guards. As I said, we have 3 top 10 picks. I mean, none of them like what. Frank, Mudiay, Burke. Where are they right now? If you had to rank the 3 of them right now, where are they?
I would say, well, this week, Burke, Moutier, Frank.
I think I think Moutier, Burke, than Frank. Or this week, and I think overall I have right now Moutier, Frank, then Burke. In the competition for the starting point guard role for the Knicks, just a starting guard, like Burke is, it's just clear to me his defense and his size. He's not the best passer in the world. He's good at getting points, but not necessarily getting anyone else.
You also just described Moutier.
Moutier's his fifth thinks he's the best passer on the team, and I'm starting to believe it. He's the best passer of all the three.
Well, he had 0 assists against the Pelicans and 2 against the Magic. So
I understand the assist category does not bode well for my argument. But
do you know who led the team in assists today?
Who?
You probably do because you have the box score open. But Cantor with 3.
My God. So Cantor is our new point guard. We found a position for Cantor.
And against the Pelicans, the leader in assists was Trier. So we have 3 point guards, and none of them are really.
I have to say, just the eye test alone with Moutier, and he also hit a bunch of shots in the Pelican game, but the eye test alone, the offense just looks better with Moutier. It's just like he tries to set guys up. Like it just looks 100% better. If you had Ntilikina's defense and Moutier's offense right now, you'd be like, oh, cool, we're set.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm shocked I'm saying that about Moutier, but
unfortunately, we don't.
We don't. But Moutier he's been a lot more aggressive on offense. He's actually figuring out how to finish from the rim. I mean, I'm sure he'll suck this week now that I've said this, but I have no hope that any of these 3 guys are our point guard in the future.
Yeah, that's the problem. Like, even if they're playing really good, I don't trust them.
Right now, I feel like Moutier. I just can't imagine the Knicks have put together a really good team where Moutier's our starting point guard. Frank, I can't see him figuring out his offense well enough to really be a starting point guard anytime soon. But I think he'd be a solid role player. And Burke, he's just offense off the bench. I can't see him being as. So who do you got in the draft for point guards? Can Zion play point guard?
They're saying he could play point forward.
I am saying if the Knicks can take Zion, just take Zion. Do you know what? This is crazy. I don't know if this is true. I heard this, I think in the Sports Illustrated podcast, Open Floor, which Jay recommended to me. Everyone should listen to it. It's a very good podcast. They said there's only one player in the NBA that outweighs Zion.
Yeah.
That's crazy how much. And he's got major ups.
Yeah, when I first heard his weight, I was like, okay, this guy is going to be injury prone and just not going to be able to sustain that weight. But looks like he can.
It's 285, I think.
Yeah. Boban is the only player heavier.
Yes, Boban. Is there any good rhyme we could say? The Knicks should drop a dime to get Zion. No. What rhymes with Zion?
Crying for Zion?
Make your fans crying so we can get Zion.
We'll work on that.
The Knicks tonight. Don't play the Lion. We need Zion.
Who's the Lion?
I don't know. Don't play courage. Nothing rhymes with Zion.
Stop trying for Zion.
There's got to be I hope next year the best player in the draft is named like Hank. There's a guy in Duke that's named Hank who's going to be really good. So we can all say, let's all tank for Hank.
With our luck, it'll be the guy's name will be like Orange.
Orange
there's no word that rhymes with orange.
Okay, so and the Orlando game. So I don't think I had anything else for this game. What else? What else I want to say for this? For the Pelican game, there's really nothing else. Boards blocking out. I wish they would block out. And yeah, Knox. What do you think of how Knox have been looking?
I think it's still just a mixed bag. There's always some flashes where I'm like, okay, this guy's gonna be really good, and then there's some times where I'm like, you aren't as good as what you're trying to do right now, so please stop trying to do that. But I mean, I do like the confidence, but it's also kind of like know what you can do.
His shot, his shot looks pretty nice. I mean, their starting lineup they went with the I guess before this game in the Pelican game. They started the 3 guys they drafted this year, or the 3 guys they got. Well, include Trier as a draft pick, and then like it's kind of just crazy. Basically, 3 guys they drafted, a guy they got for a second-round pick, and Timmy.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
I can see why we're the last worst team in the NBA.
Timmy, who they also drafted.
Are we worse than Cleveland?
No.
It's close though. They should beat Cleveland. We play Cleveland, the Knicks should beat Cleveland. I'm excited for that game.
Cleveland's really, really, really bad, and without Love, they have nothing.
I mean, nothing. Who else is close in the tankathon standings? But right now I think we're going to the tankathon standings because it is what it is. We got Cleveland, Atlanta. The Knicks beat Atlanta twice. So Knicks are better than Atlanta.
Yeah.
You got Phoenix, so it's basically Cleveland, Atlanta, Phoenix, then the Knicks. The Knicks are tied with Chicago. Knicks are better than Cleveland, better than Atlanta. Phoenix? Don't know.
TBD.
And Chicago? Probably not.
That one's close to. Well, I would say worse because they have the same record and Lowry's out. Once Markkanen comes back, they're going to look a lot better.
Yeah. Right now, also for people that aren't familiar with the new rules for the tank, or basically the rules for the draft, the first 3 picks have the same percentage odds. They have 14%. So it doesn't matter if you're 1, 2, or 3 worst record. You have the exact same odds. And then 4 is 11.5%, and 5 is 11.5%. Essentially, the first 5 worst teams have almost the same odds of getting the number 1 draft pick, which is better.
Yeah, I like that a lot better. It's still not perfect, but it's an improvement.
Even number 6 drops to 9%, so it's not. It's just like you don't have to be. I mean, the Knicks aren't tanking right now; they're just bad. But they may not need you don't need the tank to get to number 1. If you're number 4, it's fine.
Yeah.
And they're not going to be much better. So the Orlando game today, the Knicks are apparently down by a lot. They came back to push within 1 point at the end of the first half, and they were even very close throughout the rest of the third and fourth quarters until they lost the game.
Until they weren't.
That's how everything works for the Knicks. They're close until they're not. Anything from this game?
Well, this was another good Hardaway game. And pretty much nobody else.
Burke had a good game also.
Yeah, no, Burke and Cantor.
I mean, Orlando's not a good match for the Knicks, though, because they are a professional NBA team. I don't know. I was reading in the comment section somewhere. I know Robinson only played 9 minutes because he has foul trouble. If he could stay on the court, it'd be a lot better. And I like what he's seeing when he can stay on the court. Someone was saying that they think Robinson and even Ntilikina, some other guys could use a little time in the D League, where the pressure's not on them and they can kind of learn a little more. Do you think there's value, like for a guy like Robinson, who the Knicks are giving him minutes unless he fouls out, or unless he gets in a lot of foul trouble? Do you think he could use G League time, or just let him learn the NBA?
No, I think he's getting enough minutes, and he's not. He's getting beat, but he's not. I think he's having a good learning experience.
He clearly has great defensive instincts and knows how to block shots and like steal. Like he's great with his hands. He does not position himself at all. He's terribly positioned on for rebounds. He definitely needs a lot of work on that skill set. I just thought it was an interesting argument that like maybe like it would help these guys to get a little time in the G League just to like smooth their game out. Like everyone in the Knicks probably could have used an extra year of college.
Yeah, but I feel like he's not getting embarrassed, which means he probably doesn't need to go to the G League.
Yeah.
Like I feel like if players are just getting run off the court, you should go to the G League and practice up, or if they're just not getting enough minutes. And I don't think either thing is really happening for Robinson.
Yeah, his minutes are there if he can stay on the court, and when he's on the court, he looks impressive. Even though he's getting beat on some things, like he looks impressive.
Yeah.
What about Ntilikina? He's in this terrible hole right now where he's Actually, I thought this was an interesting stat. Let me find this. Where is this? It was something basically about how Ntilikina was on the court for like 12 minutes where he didn't shoot the basketball, but the Knicks were winning during that. Like they were a plus something when he was on the court.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what to make of it. I don't know what to make. Does Ntilikina, would he be benefit from running the G League to get his confidence back up?
He might. He's getting enough minutes, but I feel like he's playing off ball. Maybe let him run a G League team.
Yeah. Just go, you're going to play 35 minutes here, and just, you don't worry about it. We'll give you a couple times doing this, and just try stuff out. Here.
Right. You're playing points. We want you to get, your goal is to get 6 assists a game or something.
Okay. So question for you. Do you think lack of veteran leadership is hurting this team at all?
No,
they fell apart a little bit after Lance went down. And I think it was just coincidence. And there's been no Courtney Love, and Cantor is not really veteran leadership.
Courtney Love?
Yeah, Courtney Love. The singer from Hole plays for the Knicks. What's your problem? Can I just call him Courtney Love the rest of the way? Courtney Lee. I even wrote Courtney Love. I made a note that I wanted to mention Courtney Love. So Lee and Lance, do you think it hurts them not having that? Would it be helpful to have those guys around?
I mean, they're around. They're still sitting on the bench.
I meant on the court, I guess.
No. I think veteran leadership is fine if they're there. Lee you see him talking to people during timeouts and pointing stuff out, and he's still around in the locker room. So I don't think it's really a big deal that he's not out on the court.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the problem is if Lee was healthy, even Lance was healthy, they take minutes away from guys.
Exactly.
The only thing is that would those guys benefit? Having 3 young guys play with 2 veterans, is that more beneficial than having 5 guys who don't know what they're doing on the court?
It's good for the tank.
It is good for the tank. Speaking of the tank, is it too early to start rooting for it? Is this I only want to root for the tank when I feel like the season is really over.
I'm fine.
At this point, is this team so far away from everything that if we don't get a top 5 pick, it's going to hurt?
I guess it depends if you think that if they can hold fort until Porzingis comes back and then somehow make a run with him.
Clearly they can't hold. I mean, right now they don't look very good as far as they can't win games. Right now I can name all the teams they've beaten, which is not a good sign your team is this far into the season. Your team's good.
That is true.
And you kind of feel like if the Knicks got Zion, that'd be really helpful, or just someone else with a top 3 or top 4 talent. That'd be really helpful at this point because this team needs just better players. We need more talent.
Yeah, I mean that's definite. That's a definite. I like a lot of these players, but there's no this guy should definitely be the starter for the next 8 years type of guy right now.
By the way, we have leaked audio from, speaking of talent that we're going to get, Kevin Durant. We have leaked audio from the Kevin Durant and Draymond Green fight in their locker room later on. Do you want to play it, Jay?
Sure.
Okay. You want to just start rolling, hit it?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Do you want to be Durant?
Sure.
Hey, we were good before you got here. Just go to the Knicks. We know you're going to be a Knick. Everyone knows you're going to be a Knick. Good leak audio. You don't think that's the real audio?
It sounded pretty legit to me.
It sounded legit, didn't it?
Yeah.
It didn't sound like me at all. I think that the Green is confirming that he's going to be a Knick. What do you think about the Durant Green thing?
I think it's probably getting blown out of proportion, although the fact that Green got suspended was a little...
So did you listen to, by the way, the Open Floor essay podcast this week? The one that we talked about Durant and Green?
Yeah.
I loved how they did it. They started out with a whole big thing about how, today's stat guys will tell you, when the last second shots in games, don't call a timeout beforehand so that the defense can't get set. So they had, instead of calling timeout with 6 seconds to go for the shot. this is what the stat guys tell you. You're in a better position, so you don't get to call a play. And he was like, was it worth it? You didn't call a timeout, and that led to Draymond Green turning the ball over, Kevin Durant possibly leaving the team, and the end of your franchise. Was it worth not calling the timeout? He did like a whole 10-minute thing on it. It was really, I thought it was hilarious.
That is funny.
Do you think they're going to make? I mean, do you think there's a chance that like they will like one of those two guys will be gone from the team next year? Like, will they sign Durant and like get rid of Green?
That would be really weird. I don't know. If you win 3 straight championships, that one play is really going to.
Well, clearly there's animosity. Like underneath it, they're annoyed. Like there's this. Like Green probably has the like we won before you got here. We do things a certain way here. Don't you dare question how we do things here. You're an outsider anyway.
Yeah, but conversely, I've heard a lot of the players are annoyed at Green's outbursts, which apparently happen quite often.
Right. So one of these guys, basically, it's going to come to a head where like one of these guys cannot be in the team. Like it will not work with both.
I guess that's the question: is it that bad, or is it like this is really annoying, but we keep winning championships, so let's keep this going?
Well, there weren't all those rumors that there were things were bad in the locker room last year. They had issues, but they weren't like public issues.
Right, and then they stomped everybody in the playoffs.
Right, but like at some point those things boil over, and at some point winning's not enough. At some point, guys just get like have issues anyway. Like LeBron got to the finals every year. At some point, Kyrie was like, "I don't want to play with you anymore."
That is a good point.
Yeah. I don't know. At some point, maybe like Green's like Durant, you're not one of us, and then like either they're like Green, you got to go, or Durant's like I don't like being told I'm not one of you. I'm really going to leave.
Right.
I don't know. You want to go to questions, Jay?
Yeah, let's go to questions. nyknickspodcast@gmail.com. We also have NY Knicks Podcast on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and Patreon. Patreon is a site where you can subscribe to the podcast for as little as $1 a month and help support the show because podcasting is expensive.
Sorry to interrupt you, but if any news networks want to use our leaked audio from the Durant Draymond Green fight, it's just credit us on your broadcast, and you can use our leaked audio.
And
that was real audio, by the way.
And if you want to compensate us, email us. I'll send you our PayPal. Matt writes, do you think they should start Alonzo Trier at point guard just to see what happens? If it doesn't work out, the Knicks probably would have lost anyway. Best case scenario, Trier finds a way between passing and shooting. Trier is one of the tightest handles on the team. And as a starter, he would be passing to people who can knock down shots like Knox and Hardaway rather than him passing to second unit players like Cantor. And that was from 3 days ago. And apparently Fizdale has hacked our email and read this.
For a while, I started thinking that maybe Timmy Hardaway should be our point guard because he can actually pass the ball. And he has some, like, he's not bad. Like, he'll have games where he has, like, 6 or 7 assists. I don't think that he should be our point guard, but, like, it's the same idea. Like, he has a good handle. It's the same basic idea that the Trier idea, really. But Trier hasn't proven himself to be like a that good of a passer yet in the NBA.
Right.
He hasn't had a game where he has like 5 assists even. What do you think of the idea, Jay?
Somebody's got to start distributing the ball on a consistent
I think
basis.
Moutier's the guy to distribute the ball right now. I don't know what that does for us, but
I mean, 2 assists in 2 games. That's
1 per game. He's getting at least 1 a game, Jay. I think he looked better than those numbers. Those numbers obviously speak to him not looking good, but I think he's looked. I don't know. You know what it is, really, Jay? The point guards just all don't look good. So anything, I latch onto something and pretend the guy's good. For a little while, I thought Burke might be our starting point guard answer.
Ever the optimist.
When's the last time we've had a good point guard?
Marbury, like 10 years ago, that one season.
Yeah, like it's been Jeremy Lin for a short time.
Jeremy Lin for 6 weeks. Jason Kidd for like 3 months.
Yeah,
at 40 years old.
Pre-fat Mello. Pre-fat Felton.
Yeah. It's a killer's row of players we just named there.
Yeah, we had Jarrett Jack last year. I'm not saying he was good. I'm just saying we had him. What was even the point of playing Jarrett Jack? Like, what the hell was Hornacek even doing with this? Like, the team was horrible last year, just as horrible. And Hornacek was like, I won't play the young guys because there are vets on this team, and like me and them, we're not going to be a team next year. So what was the goddamn point?
Well, like every vet that comes to the Knicks, he's out of the league now.
Yeah, he's out of the league. Like Jarrett Jack, like Hornacek saw something in him, and he's out of the league. Is what's his name still in the league? Who Jennings? Was it Brandon Jennings on the team or no? Who was the
Brandon Jennings was on the team.
No, but who was the other point guard last year? It was Jarrett Jack and besides Ntilikina. Who was the other one that ended up that we thought would be okay, but was like unplayable at times?
That was what was his name?
He was like a veteran that the Knicks had wanted a while back.
Oh, Raymond Sessions?
Raymond Sessions, that's what I'm thinking. Raymond Sessions.
Yeah.
Is he still in the league?
Raymond Sessions is not in the league.
Okay.
It's like
the best thing you could do for your career is play for the Knicks, and then you will not be in the league thereafter.
It's like a kiss of death, really.
It really is. Okay, questions, Jay.
Paulie writes, glad you guys got the new equipment. You sound much better. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
When you get your schooling done, are you going to stop doing this podcast? The plan is to actually do more shows, not less.
It would be really. Yeah, I hope you weren't going to break to me that like after CPA is over, you're like, I'm done now. Now do I have an exit plan? I'm a CPA.
We would all get sad, and Mark would have no one to pick on. I'm on your side, Jay. I hope we get Cantor or one of the Knicks on your show for an interview. That would be awesome. Thanks for the podcast. It's really awesome. Take it easy. Thank you, Paul.
When he says, I hope we get. Did he say, I hope we get Cantor
on the show?
Oh yeah, because no, it's just like when he says that, it almost sounds like you're almost like, I hope we get cancer. Which okay, go on.
It's he seems like he would be a fun interview. He seems like he has a good personality.
I mean, I would love to get any of these guys on there, but yeah, no, I think he would be a fun interview.
Or hey, right? Should we?
What would your opening question to him? Like, hey, so defense, what's going on there?
Explain what defense means to you. Or hey, writes, should we sign Carmelo to help us get a top 3 lottery pick? This is coming from a Melo fan, sadly. It's a sad state of affairs, I gotta say.
Yeah. Again, Carmelo, you can. Again, we will let. You're not gonna have to come off the bench for us. You can be our starting co-host or our starting host. Like we'll be your co-host. You can run this ship.
Yeah, it's amazing how quick that decline went.
Yeah. Well, so a player I was thinking about has a similar decline or similar. Like, I feel like Melo is close to being out of the league. Be fair to say. I mean, he's technically not in the league right now.
Yeah, it's not like players were jumping all over that opportunity when he left Houston.
He's going to be. By the way, someone's going to sign him, right?
I would think so.
Who's going to sign him? By the way, they had the Hawks cut him. By the way, they traded for him. They didn't want him on the roster. So a lot of teams like OKC, Houston, Atlanta, clearly the Knicks. 4 teams have announced basically they don't want Melo on their teams. On their team, who wants him? Who would it make sense? Like the young teams, like a Phoenix, is not going to want him. Who would want him?
The Lakers.
Hey, LeBron, you know what's going to really help your Lakers? A guy that's not going to play defense and going to stop the ball on offense. You want that?
Hey, LeBron, it'll get Lance Stevenson off the court.
Hey, LeBron, we've got a guy that's not as good as Michael Beasley. You want him? They have Beasley. Like, there's no if you want to have the exact same skill set, basically, you just play Beasley at this point.
I honestly can't think of a team that would really need him.
By the way, I find it really funny. You went on the Lakers Legacy podcast, and they want to interview you about Michael Beasley because he became a Laker. He stopped playing for the Lakers.
I told them not to get excited. I
I
tried to
don't think they
temper
were
their
getting
expectations.
excited, but
Well, the beginning of the part before I came on, they were getting a little hyped up, and I was like, guys, we need to tone this down a little bit.
yeah. He basically, well, the point really is that like through 3 games he'd played. I guess now he's up to. Oh, sorry, that's total. He's averaging 5 minutes a game, and I think that's actually up since last time I looked. I think at 3 games he's only played 4 games for the Lakers so far, averaging 5 minutes a game. And I think it actually is up since I last checked. He's not playing for the team, basically.
Yeah.
It was just funny they had you on, and this guy's barely going to play for the Lakers. But so who would want Melo? Looking at the best team, it would probably be one of the better teams in the league, right? It's not going to be a bad team. So Toronto, you see him fitting in there?
No.
They want a skill set?
No, they have a nice bench. They don't want to mess that up.
Milwaukee? They can use some help. Maybe.
Possibly.
Indiana? Maybe. Philly? They got Butler. I don't know if do you want Melo?
No, I don't think so. Well,
Boston?
Well, their bench is a little thin.
Boston, I don't think he's the team player they want.
I think Boston's going to have trouble getting minutes for everybody on the team as it is.
Yeah, and then after that, no one, Detroit, Orlando, no one's going to be. You're a bad team anyway. I don't think Melo sells tickets anymore. Then going to the West, Portland, maybe. They wanted him before, maybe.
Portland, yeah, maybe. I would say Portland or Philly. Yeah, maybe Memphis. The thing is, Melo hasn't been able to shoot anymore, and a lot of those teams need a guy who can shoot off the bench.
I'm going to say Portland is my my choice for where he goes, or my guess. Where are you going to say? What's your guess?
My guess is he's done.
Denver?
No, my guess is he's done.
Playing beside Jimmer Fredette in China?
Yeah, I don't think anybody takes him.
Allen Iverson. Is this the same end of his career that Allen Iverson had? Different players, but guys who were very ball dominant, took a lot of shots, and they could not step back. They could not just be like a bench piece afterward. Once they weren't starters, they were done.
Right. Yeah.
It just seems very, very similar to me.
Exactly.
All right. He's not Vince Carter.
Back to emails.
Questions.
Keelan writes, "Hey, Marc and Jay, love your show. Long-time listener, first-time emailer. I can't remember the last time I was so excited to watch the Knicks play, knowing good and well that they have no chance in hell to win a lot of these games. Coach Fitz and this team certainly bring a new level of excitement to losing. With that said, I'm looking forward to getting KP back and adding a lottery pick to the fold. With the 2019-20 season, who would you like to see added to the team? I know KD's name keeps popping up. KD would be awesome, but don't see him coming here with his current roster. And he seems to be a little sensitive to criticism. Don't see that playing out well in the New York market/media. What do you think about some of these low-key free agents, and who from that list makes sense to add with KP and the boys? Klay Thompson. Want to give me your thoughts as I read?
Yeah. Klay, yeah, awesome. Max him out. He's not coming here, but max him out. Like I don't see Klay
would
leaving.
Klay would be very nice. Plays defense, obviously amazing shooter.
Yeah, I'd be happy to have him. I'd be happy to go he's our guy going forward.
Yeah, but I think he's one of the last people that would leave Golden State.
Yeah.
Kemba Walker just had a 60-point game.
We talked about it last show. I think I'm on board with maxing out Kemba because I don't know who else plays point guard for our team. He's the next. He is good. What is he, 6 foot tall? How tall is he?
Yeah. He just had a 60-point game, though.
No, and they lost the game, too.
Yeah, they did.
I would be fine. I would take a chance. Kemba, KP, get a top 10 pick, top 5 pick. You had Zion, KP, and Kemba. I like our odds. I like our chances.
Yeah.
Okay, I would go with Kemba. Yeah. What else you got?
Who was it? I think it was Donovan Mitchell. He just had a game where he took 35 shots and had 0 assists. The last player to take over 30 shots and have 0 assists was?
Kobe Bryant.
Carmelo.
Oh, okay. I was thinking of Kobe Bryant's last game of his career, where he scored. Remember, he scored like 60 points because they kept feeding him the ball. I assume he probably didn't get an assist in that game.
Okay. Ricky Rubio.
No, he's not that young anymore. He doesn't play offense. He's gotten better on offense. I don't think it pushes the needle. He's not a long-term solution. I feel like for us. How old is he? Is he 30 yet?
No.
How old is
He's 27.
Was he drafted a decade ago?
Yeah.
He's 28. But yeah, holy crap. I'm not like it was one thing if we were going to trade Derrick Rose from straight up and Phil Jackson's a moron. I don't think I'm going to. How much he's going to cost a big contract, right? Come here.
Big, but not max, and he would be the best passer the Knicks have seen since Mark Jackson.
But he's really not a good shooter. And I feel like that matters for this team. Like, I just don't think the Knicks are going to succeed without a point guard that can't play. We already have a point guard that can't play offense. I understand he's a much better passer. I'm fine with Rubio if like that's like an extra piece to put us over the top. But for the money we'd have to pay, I'm not in.
His shooting's a little bit better lately.
Have you looked? I'm just taking a quick look. Last year he was a little better. This year he's shooting 35% from the field.
Small sample size. The last 2 years, he got his field goal percentage in the 40s, which is still bad, but it's better.
His effective field goal percentage is 40% right now, which is atrocious. Mm-hmm. And last year was 47%, which is best of his career, which is not. I mean, it's better. It's not terrible. His true shooting percentage, which as I said before, I think is a pretty good stat. Last year was decent. He was like 53%, but this year it's 48. What do you think? Like, you have him for the next 4 years. I don't think he's where does he get us, basically? Do you think we're really going to compete with it?
I think it would be a huge difference having a point guard that can pass like he can.
What do you think it takes to get him, money-wise?
4 years, 48.
I guess, you're right. I guess it would make a big enough difference. Would you take him for the next 4 years and just say, screw it, the 3 guys we have now, none of them are going to be our starting point guard? I'm done with, I'm happy to develop Frank as, a piece off the bench, but I just don't think he's a point guard I don't think he's our starting point guard going forward. I'd sign Rubio.
Yeah, I mean, he's like I said, he's only 28. He's making $14 million this year, so...
So say $14 million a year you're going to pay him.
Yeah. That's not that bad.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you don't get anyone else, and you want to basically, right? The Knicks, once you max out KP, it's going to be hard to add someone. So if you sign someone if you sign someone and then max KP out, it's a much better use of your cap. I guess it's not. It wouldn't be a bad sign. You're talking me into it.
And
who else you got?
And he played over 75 games the last 3 years, so.
Yeah, he's been healthy.
Fairly healthy.
He's solid on defense.
Okay, let's move on. He's very good on defense. JJ Redick.
I would sign him, but not for the money that you'd command.
I say too old.
Yeah, I don't think he's solid anything for us. He's a great shooter.
He's a very good shooter, but he's 34. He'll be 35 before he gets to the Knicks.
Yeah. And again, this is not a guy. Again, it doesn't really even matter. I don't think Redick or a guy Rubio. Why would Rubio come here? He's got a good situation in Utah.
Well, maybe his game is definitely being snuffed a little by Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, I don't see that being enough to. Okay, go on to the next guy.
Vucevic.
No. Why do we need? He's not a great defender.
No.
We already have a guy that is a pretty solid offensive player who can't play defense. I think Vucevic's better on offense. But,
he's Cantor with a 3-point shot, and he can pass a lot better. I mean, he had 9 assists tonight.
No, he's a much better offensive player than Cantor. I don't think it's even close. But I feel like you can't have a center that can't play. Is not a good defender, and just you can't have a point guard that can't play offense. It just doesn't. We like a Mitchell Rob. We already have KP and we have Mitchell Robinson. I don't think we need to sign a center like Vucevic.
I wouldn't mind having. I mean, Vucevic would get 100% of Cantor's minutes, and it would be an upgrade.
Yeah, you know what? He's going to ask for big money, and you know what? Orlando has been bad with him for a long time. It's not like he's made them a good team.
No, but Orlando hasn't even had a point guard the entire time he's been there.
Orlando also has had him, and they've been drafting his replacement because they don't think he's the answer.
But they haven't found anybody better, have they?
I mean, they don't believe in him.
Danny Green.
Too old. But I'd like him. I'd like to have him on the team, but he's too old.
Yeah, same. Kelly Oubre.
By the way, Danny Green, is it crazy that he was like a throw-in in the Kawhi trade?
I know. Turns out he's like a perfect fit in Toronto and exactly what they needed.
It's like Toronto's like, hey, we got an offer for you, San Antonio. How about you give us the best player in the trade and you throw in Danny Green? It's crazy.
Kelly Oubre.
I always like him, but I think I see him only playing. I only really watch him against the Knicks, and everyone looks good against the Knicks.
I think Oubre is the kind of guy that's going to get overpaid, and the contract's going to look terrible immediately.
I don't think there's anything. We have guys on the roster that like. I don't see him being any. I don't think he's necessarily a starter in the league. So
yeah. Milos Teodosic.
That's a point guard from the Clippers.
Yeah. Who's already, I believe, old and always injured.
Yeah, and is he playing particularly well in the Clippers? I have not been following. I know the Clippers are playing decent this year, but
he is 31 and he only played 45 games last season, and he's already missed about 4 this season.
How's he playing though? Like
he's only playing 10 minutes a game.
Okay, so no, we're not gonna. We already have guys that can't play point guard.
Terry Rozier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How tall is Rozier?
6'3", I think.
Okay, he's a little taller than I thought. I thought maybe he's like 6'1". I would be fine with overpaying for Rozier and naming him our point guard and going with that.
Yeah, I feel like he would look a lot better on a team like the Knicks. He's just not getting it. He's behind Irving, and
he looked when Irving was out. He looked pretty darn good.
Exactly. He's got a lot of competition.
I'd be fine with just saying shelving the other 3 guys and just saying Terry Rozier's our point guard. We're going to overpay for him and hope it works out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be totally fine. Yeah.
D'Angelo Russell.
No.
I mean, we can keep collecting the 2015 draft top 10.
Collect them all. No, I mean, he. You could argue he might be better than the guys we have now. He's not the answer. So.
Agreed. Goran Dragic.
Old.
Love Dragic, but too old.
Too old.
Markelle Fultz.
Hey, why don't we move on to a different draft to collect the pieces from? I believe Fultz would be worth a chance. He's a reclamation project that I'd be totally down for.
I want nothing to do with Fultz.
I posted this question. No one seemed to like this trade idea, but Ntilikina for Fultz.
Nope.
You don't think so?
I want nothing to do with Fultz.
What the hell's wrong with Fultz?
I don't know, but something is.
Yeah, just say what's going on with him? Like, what the hell?
I don't know, but something's very wrong.
I feel like it's a weird thing. Like Anthony Bennett was a disaster as number 1 pick, but no one thought he'd be a number 1 pick, so it didn't make sense. Or you have a guy like Greg Oden who's injured. Fultz, how many guys end up number 1 pick where he's the consensus number 1, and it was supposed to be talent level, like there's no injury. It's just bizarre to be a number 1 pick that everyone thought was a number 1 or maybe a number 2 guy in the draft, and to be this bad.
It's insane.
Yeah, it's not like there are examples of guys like you have Darko, but he was a bit of a wild card anyway. This is just a purely like best player in college basketball just ending up being a disaster.
The whole thing is.
I think
very weird.
So I will. You want to make a burger bet?
About what?
Fultz. 3 years from now, he looks like a pretty solid player. 3 years from now, he's a starting point guard on a team.
Somebody should have a burger board to keep track of all our burger bets.
Okay.
But
3
yeah, I'll take you up on that one.
3 years from now, he's a starting point guard and deservedly show a starting point guard on a team. Not an all-star, but he's a starting point guard on some team. May not be Philly.
Yeah, I'll take you up on that.
Questions? I think we have to move a little faster.
Yeah. The last part of that email is who would we cut to get in one of those free agents?
Anyone from 11 through 15 on the roster?
Yeah, there's not a lot of people I'm completely attached to right now.
Ron Baker, Cornette. It's not a hard game to figure out who we're going to cut in this team.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for the email. That is
Actually,
it for emails and Twitter.
You missed one long email.
Did I?
The Word document.
That was the one.
Oh, that was.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. That's a good email. I wanted this question anyway, based on what you just said before. Facebook. We only have a couple questions on Facebook. Declan writes, or Declan. It's Declan, right?
Yeah.
It's only been like 5 years of questions from him. I should get that.
I like how some of our listeners actually write their name phonetically. It helps.
How many guys on the team do you honestly think will still be on the team in 2 years? So, looking at the roster, and not next season, but the season after, I'll name a player. You tell me. By the way, this I thought was interesting also, just on a side note. I watched the entire Pelicans game, and then I looked at like a recap on Posting and Toasting, and one of the things they pointed out was that Hezonja hadn't played in the game, and I was like, oh, I didn't even remember he didn't play in the game. Like he didn't play, and I didn't miss him at all.
Yeah.
So
we didn't do this last week.
Did we do this last week? Let's go fast. 2 years from now, are they going to be on the team?
Okay.
Maybe we did 3 years. Whatever. Hezonja. I have it next year. Next year's team.
No, let's do. All right. He has 2 years.
2 years. We've been asked this question. Okay. Hezonja. 2 years from the team. 2 years.
No.
Knox.
Yes.
Robinson.
Yes.
Moutier.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
It's getting a little harder, right?
Yeah. Let's say yes.
Okay. Trier.
Yes.
Hardaway.
Yes.
Vonleh.
No.
Cantor.
No.
Frankie.
Yes.
That took you a little while. Burke.
No.
Dotson.
No.
Ooh.
Not that I don't like him. I feel like he's that player that's going to get thrown into like a Courtney Lee trade or something.
I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think he's going to be thrown into a Courtney Lee trade. I think they like him enough, but the question is whether they extend him, I guess. I think he's going to be on the team. I disagree with you. That's the first one I've disagreed. Baker.
No.
Cornette. Hicks.
Nope.
Whoever else I haven't named yet. No, right? So we are up to 6 or 7 players, depending on where you fell on Dotson.
Right. And Porzingis, yes.
Oh, and Porzingis, obviously, yes.
Courtney Lee, no.
What did you say?
Courtney Lee, no.
Courtney Lee, no. And Lance Thomas, no.
Right.
So 7 or 8 guys from this team we think will be on the team 2 years from now, which is pretty good for continuity and building something going forward.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't really disagree with any of the other answers. Jeffrey writes, Jay, good luck on your exam. Remember, pass or fail. It's a cruel world out there. Be audit you can be. Oh, okay, never mind. He wasn't. It's a cruel world out there. Be audit you can be.
He wrote the word accrual instead of accrual. I like that.
That was good.
A little
I didn't
accounting
catch
humor
on
there. I like that.
Rafi writes. By the way, for those that didn't understand what I wrote this week, I mentioned that we need answers to the CPA exam, and no one sent any in.
Okay, I guess I'm gonna have to do it on my own on Tuesday.
It's not working out well for Jay doing it on his own. Get them the answers. Rafi writes, would you take Draymond Green if Golden State trades him? If yes, who would you trade for him? If not, would you consider him in free agency? In Zach Lowe's podcast, they said he's the perfect complement to KP.
Yeah, I'd absolutely take him on the team.
I mean, 100%. And I agree completely. He'd be a great compliment to KP. Let's say, obviously, you'd sign him, and you'd max him, right?
Yeah, I'd take anybody. I'd trade everybody except KP.
Design a trade that gets Golden State to not to get Golden State to stop laughing.
Okay, so it would be. You got to consider salaries too. So I guess Hardaway.
This year's number 1 draft pick. That Golden State. So I'm going to jump in there. Golden State's going to say, "I want this year's number 1 draft pick in the mix." You doing it?
No.
Not for Draymond Green.
If we do, then we're going to get the number 1 pick, and it would be Zion, and then Golden State would end up winning another 7 championships because of that.
I know, but not like Draymond Green's old.
No, but
he's
not young either.
He's 28, maybe. How old is he?
28, 29. He's 28, almost 29. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, he'll be 29. So, but he would be a fantastic compliment, and you could run the offense through him. We can't find a point guard. We got a center you can run the offense through.
I'd rather a 19-year-old Zion.
Yes, so would I. First of all, the Knicks, wherever the Knicks pick, Zion will be picked one before them.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, who designed your trade then? I'm Golden State, Jay. I'm going to hang up soon, so please, come on, Jay. I can't even believe I'm speaking to someone in the New York Knicks. This is how low it's gotten for us. I can't believe Kevin. We were just going to win title after year after year, win titles, but no, Kevin Durant and Draymond Green don't get along. Make your shit. Everyone gets 5 minutes to make an offer to us. The entire league is doing this. Make a compelling offer, Jay.
We got Hardaway Jr. and Ntilikina.
Okay, I appreciate your good nature humor. You are hilarious. I'll move on to my next call.
That's the best that's literally the best I can do.
Throw in your draft pick, or else we're not even discussing this.
Yeah, goodbye.
Ntilikina and Hardaway.
Golden State
would like Ntilikina. He'd look better. I mean, they both would look better there. You're also losing. I think you're Golden State. You're we'll take Mitchell Robinson because we want defense in the center position. We're losing our defensive player in center position. We like Ntilikina, and we'll take your draft pick and Trier.
Yeah, that's gutting the team.
That really is gutting the team. But we'll get him in free agency. I don't know when he's going to be a free agent, but let's take Durant. You guys can keep Draymond Green. We just signed Durant.
Draymond Green's got 1 more year after this one.
Yeah, his shooting's is a little more suspect than it was. You just wonder, of all places, we're always a clown show circus. Would Green come here and just fall off a cliff here?
I mean, his numbers are going down every year now.
They are. And he's a guy that, in the middle of the finals, he had to kick some guy in the balls and get suspended.
Yeah, maybe we shouldn't gut the team for him.
I mean, I would sign him. I'd give him the max deal, but I don't know if I'd gut the team. Whatever. I mean, I want some hope. What did we learn today, Jay?
We learned that a trade for Draymond Green is not very likely.
Yes, that would be accurate. We learned that people are insane about getting already down on the Fizz, because they don't like the lineup he's throwing out there. Because statistically, it doesn't make sense. Read the advanced stats data. Come on, Fizz.
We learned that a third of the team is point guards, but we kind of still need a point guard.
We learned that throughout the entire point guard discussion, no one even brought up Baker.
Shows what we think of him.
We learned that We're playing for the tank. It's pretty early, and it seems like why not at this point?
Yeah.
Zion would be a huge. I'm sure there's some other guys that are going to be really good and all, but in that draft too. But we need someone else. We need to see more talent in this roster.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. We will be back next Sunday.
Yes, and it's Thanksgiving, so
Everyone enjoy your holiday.
Enjoy your holiday.
Happy trails to bye, my love. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. It's over. Goodbye. It's time to go. This is the end. Say goodbye. You better go away. I'm gonna leave you. It's the end. Goodbye. Goodbye. Just leave me alone.